Introduction. In the autobiography of Ek Kahani Yah Bhi, you have written about those people and events that influence your personality and literary life. MANNU Bhandari has beautifully presented the events related to the environment of the home, the nature of the parents, playing with siblings and friends, the influence of teacher Sheila Agrawal, the active role in the freedom movement in 1946-47 in this autobiography. This autobiography has been selected for the purpose of highlighting the important role of family members and teachers in personality formation. I was born in the village of Bhanpura in Madhya Pradesh, but the series of my memories begins with that two-story house in the Brahmapuri neighborhood of Ajmer, on the upper floor of which was the empire of my father, where he would either read something or give dictation among the scattered books, magazines and newspapers in an extremely haphazard manner. Downstairs we lived with all our brothers and sisters. Before Ajmer, father was in Indore where he had great reputation, honor and name. Along with the Congress, he was also associated with social reform works. He didn't just teach, but taught 10 students in his house, many of whom later reached high positions. These were his prosperous days, and there was no less talk of his generosity in those days. On one hand he was a very gentle and sensitive person, and on the other hand he was very angry and egotistical. I only heard that. See, then he was the father carrying the ruins of these qualities. Due to a huge financial shock, he came to Ajmer from Indore, where he single-handedly started the unfinished work of English-Hindi dictionary, subject, which was the first and only dictionary of its kind. It gave him success and prestige, but it didn't mean much, and perhaps the declining financial situation started squeezing out all the positive aspects of his personality. Due to the shrinking financial situation, his overinflated ego did not allow him to do that. They at least make their children partners in their financial constraints. Nawabi's habits, unfulfilled ambitions, always on top became anger and always made Ma tremble. How deep will be the wounds of betrayal at the hands of those who blindly made the father of all believers so weak in the later days that sometimes even our people would come under his grip. But I am not singing this father's story because I want to sing his praises, but I want to see what qualities and flaws of his personality have been woven into the fabric of my personality, or what glands his behavior has unknowingly and unwittingly given birth to in me. I am black. Dubli and Mariel were also in childhood. Fair complexion was the weakness of my father, so in my childhood, I compared her to Sushila, who was 2 years older than me, very fair, healthy and cheerful, and then praised her. Has it not created such a deep inferiority complex within me that despite getting name, honor and prestige, I have not been able to overcome it till now? Even today, when someone starts mentioning my literary achievements while introducing me, I don't shy away from it, but I am shocked. Maybe it's because of this inferiority complex buried under a layer of unconsciousness that I can't trust my achievements. I used to talk about my father's suspicious nature. Today, suddenly, beneath the pain of my broken beliefs, I see a glimpse of his suspicious nature. Ever since I came to my senses, I have always been in conflict with my father on any matter. I don't know how many forms they are in me. Somewhere in the form of frustrations, sometimes in the form of reaction, sometimes in the form of reluctance. Do those who deny their tradition and generations on the basis of mere external differences really not realize how deeply their immediate past is rooted in them? The flow of time may take us in other directions. The pressure of situations may change our form, but it cannot free us completely from it. Our uneducated mother was the exact opposite of father. Perhaps she had more patience and tolerance than the earth. She accepted every excess of father as her due and every right or wrong demand and insistence of the children as her duty with great ease. Throughout her life, she never asked for anything for herself, never wanted anything, she only gave. All the affection of us siblings, probably born out of sympathy, was with mother. But this sacrifice of hers wrapped in utter helplessness could never become my ideal, neither her sacrifice, nor her tolerance. Well, whatever it is, now I end this ancestral saga here and return to myself. I am the youngest of 5 siblings. I was probably 7 years old when my eldest sister got married, and I have only a vague memory of it, but my sister Sushila, who was 2 years older than me, and I played all the childhood games in the big courtyard of the house, Satolia, Langadi Tang, Pakad Pakad Dai, Kalitilo, and we also arranged marriages of dolls in the rooms with our friends from the neighborhood. For playing, we played gilli danda with our brothers and also did kite flying, grinding glass and making maja. But the scope of their activities remained mostly outside the house, and our limit was the house. Yes, it was definitely true that in those days the walls of the house did not end at the house only but extended to the whole neighborhood, so there was no restriction on going to any house in the neighborhood. In fact, some houses were a part of the family. Today, I feel very strongly that this modern pressure to live one's own life has made those living in flats in big cities so narrow, helpless and insecure by disconnecting us from our traditional neighborhood culture. The characters of at least a dozen of my early stories are from this very locality where I spent my adolescence and started my youth. Except 1 or 2, none of those characters are from my family. I grew up watching and listening to them, surrounded by them. But I realized how deep their impression was on my mind only when I was writing the stories. Even the gap of so many years had not blurred their expressions, language, and they came across very naturally without any special effort. Howda Sahib of that time suddenly came alive in Mahabhoj after so many years as soon as he found favorable conditions to express his personality, was a matter of surprise even for me. A pleasant surprise. Till that time, the mandatory qualification for a girl's marriage in our family was 16 years of age and matriculation. In 1944, Sushila attained this qualification and got married and went to Kolkata. Both the elder brothers also went out for further studies. As soon as the protection of these people was removed, for the first time I felt my existence afresh. For the first time, father's attention was also focused on me. At an age when girls were taught tips to make them efficient housewives and skilled cooks along with schooling, father insisted that I stay away from the kitchen. He called the kitchen Bhatiyar Khana, and according to him, staying there was like throwing your ability and talent into the furnace. Every day, there were gatherings of various political parties in the house and heated debates took place. Debating was father's favorite pastime. When I went to serve tea or snacks, father would ask me to sit there too. They wanted me to sit there, listen and know what was happening all around the country. So much was happening in the country. After the movement of 1942, the whole country was boiling, but I had no understanding of the policies of the various political parties, their mutual opposition or differences. Yes, my mind was definitely fascinated by the romantic attraction of the revolutionaries and patriotic martyrs and their sacrifices. So till the 10th class, The situation was such that I used to listen to the debates happening in the house without any special understanding and read books without making a choice, without knowing the importance of the author. But in the year 1945, as soon as I passed the 10th standard, I came to the first year, and I was introduced to the Hindi teacher Sheila Agrawal. Savitri Girls High School, where I learned Kakhra. The college was built a year ago and she was appointed this year. She admitted me to Bakaida Sahitya Ki Duniya. At that time Janendra Ji's style, with short simple sentences, was very attractive. Sunita, novel, was very good. Agnya Ji's novel Shekhar Ek Jeevani was read, but at that time it was not included in the limited scope of my understanding. A few years later, after reading Nadi Ke Dvipa, she tied her mind to such a degree that she read it again in the same breath, this time with some understanding. It was perhaps the era of churning of values. Sin virtue, moral immoral, right false notions were not only being questioned, they were being demolished. In this context, I read Janedra's Tyagpatra, Bhagwati Babu's Chitralekha, and had long discussions with Sheila Agrawal, understanding as much as she could at that age. Sheila Agrawal not only expanded the scope of literature, but the process of knowing and understanding the conditions of the country by sitting between the walls of the house, which was started by her father. She took it from there and turned it into an active participation of the conditions. In the days of 46 to 47. Those conditions, it was possible to sit at home in that situation, right? Morning ferias, strikes, processions, speeches were the character of every city, and with all the excitement, the frenzy of the youth was added to these. I was also young, and Sheila Agrawal's passionate words had turned the blood flowing in my veins into lava. The situation was that a tornado was brewing in the city and in a house. The limit of father's freedom was that Urdu Behuo, no understand among the people who came in the house in his presence. Despite all her modernity, it was becoming difficult for them to tolerate a girl who raises her hands and shouts slogans, goes on strikes, walks the streets of the city with boys. When lava flows instead of blood in the veins, how do all prohibitions, all taboos and all fear collapse? It was only then that the series of going and confronting the father who shook everyone with his anger started, married Rajendra, and then he continued. Yashkamna, rather I should say that Yashlipsa was the biggest weakness of Father Ji, and the pivot of his life was the principle that a person should live by becoming something special, should do something in such a way that he has a name, respect, prestige, dominance in the society. Because of this, I escaped his anger twice. Once a letter came from the principal from the college that father came to meet and told why disciplinary action should not be taken against me due to my activities. As soon as Patra came, father called out, "This girl won't let me show my face anywhere. I don't know what to hear. If I returned, then what will happen next?" It was predicted that there would be havoc when I returned, so I went and sat at a friend's place in the neighborhood. Mother was told to call some guru. But when Ma came and said that they are happy, let's go, she didn't believe. She sang sweetly while running away from the village. All the college girls are so angry at you. The whole college is running on the behest of 3 girls. The principal was very upset and repeatedly insisted that I take you home, because they send the girls to the classes by some kind of threat and scolding. And if you give a signal to leave the class and come out, all the girls come out and gather in the ground and shout slogans. When he was going, father was afraid to show his face, and he came proudly saying that this is the call of the whole country. How can anyone stop this? Father Ji was telling all this in a very loud tone, and I was speechless. I could not believe my eyes, nor my ears. But this was the truth. It was an incident and a continuation of the trial of Azad Hind Fauj. There was a strike call for all colleges, schools and shops. A very large group of students were going there and striking. In the evening, the entire student community of Ajmer gathered at Chopad, the main market crossing, and then there was a speech-making session. Meanwhile, a very orthodox friend of my father came home and scolded him thoroughly. Mannu has lost her vote, but what about you, Bhandari ji? It's okay, you gave freedom to the girls, but you see, she is creating a ruckus by getting the boys to go on strike. Does all this suit the girls off? He set the fire on and left, and my father kept fuming all day. All that is left now is that people come to the house and spit on me and leave. Stop this Mannu from going out of the house now. Unaware of all this, I returned home at night, and Dr. Ambalal ji, who was not only a very close and inseparable friend of my father but also the most respected and revered person of Ajmer, was sitting there. As soon as he saw me, he welcomed me very warmly. Come Mannu. I came straight to congratulate Bhandari ji as soon as I heard your speech on Chopper. I am really proud of you. Bhandari ji, do you keep entombed in the house? Do come out of the house. You have missed something. And he started praising me profusely. He kept on speaking, and the satisfaction on father's face was slowly turning into pride. When I went inside, my mother told me about the afternoon's anger, and I heaved a sigh of relief. When I look back today, I understand that what was my age at that time, and what my speech would have been. It was the affection of the doctor that was flowing from his mouth in the form of praise, or it could also be that 50 years ago, in a city like Ajmer, amidst the crowds pouring in from all sides, a girl speaking so freely without any hesitation or shyness was the root cause of it. But father, he lived amidst so many contradictions. On one hand, a strong desire to become and make others special, and on the other hand, he was equally conscious about his social image. But is this possible? Did father not realize at all that the path of these two is one of conflict? In the month of May 1947, the college authorities served a notice to Sheila Agrawal on the charge of instigating the girls and disturbing the discipline of the college. To avoid any uproar over this issue, we closed the third-year classes in July and prohibited the entry of 2-3 girl students. We created so much uproar even while staying outside that the college people had to open the third year in August. The joy of victory, but this joy was overshadowed by the huge, long-awaited joy that was ahead. The biggest achievement of the century. 15th August 1947. Dear students, if you find these Hindi lessons explained in English helpful, please share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for simple and clear lesson explanations. Check the description for links to other lesson summaries and join our WhatsApp channel for daily Kannada and Hindi lessons, useful phrases and grammar tips. Start learning today and speak confidently.